I like basketball, but I also like game development, and that's why 6 months ago I decided to make a 2D basketball game on Roblox. But wait, how in the world did I even got this silly idea from? So if you're a teenager just like me, and yeah, I know I sound old, but I'm actually kinda young, you probably have played one of those random unblocked games at school, right? Well, me and my friends always played this one game called Basket Random. It's a 2D basketball game you can play with a friend. It's simple, easy, and funny. Because of this, one day I got an idea. Yo guys, why don't I remake Basket Random but in Roblox? Wait, hold up, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, 50-50? Yo, chill, I didn't even started the game yet. 2 weeks later, it was summer and I started to work on the game. This is only gonna take 1 or 2 months, right? No, it didn't. So on day 1, I started to work on the movement system. And as I said earlier, Basket Random is a really simple game because the only thing you need to know is how to jump and shoot. Both actions are only done with one key. And this is really good because most Roblox games are pretty simple. I mean, just look at this game, the only thing players do is sit and wait. And there's 100,000 people playing? What the heck? But there's also another thing. Whenever your character lands, it will lean towards the direction it jumped. And to replicate this into Roblox Studio, I made a half cylinder and blender and welded it to our player's character. After, to make the character jump, I used the apply impulse function, but using this on the server makes it look laggy. So after making some research, I landed on this thing called a vector force. It's similar to apply impulse, but instead it's an instance and it doesn't look laggy. So for now, we're going to stick with this. Okay, nice, we can jump, but how do we know which direction to lean? Well, to do this, I get the character's Z position right when he jumps, and then I wait 0.2 seconds. After, I subtract his current Z position by his last Z position. This is going to give me the distance traveled, and if this number is positive, then it means the character moved forward, so I add an inward force. But if the number is negative, I do the opposite. Alright, we have a working movement system similar to Basket Random, but later on, I'm gonna realize there's a big problem with this, but we're just gonna let it slide for now. After making the movement system, I started to work on the main menu. I wanted the UI style to be similar to Basket Random, so I found this website called Pesco. And yo, this website is a W, bro. The amount of features it has to do pixel art is crazy, so I ended up using it for pretty much everything. With this, I made a play button and a shop button. Then I started scripting the buttons and made a settings and reward button. Also, if you're wondering why I'm skipping days, it's either because I spent all day scripting or I didn't open Studio at all. On day 6, I made a basketball hoop in Blender, because what's a basketball game without a hoop? A ball game? Get it?
Oh, hell no.
My bad. After, I followed a tutorial on YouTube to know how to make a basketball, but at the end, the basketball I had was day and night compared to the tutorial, so I don't know where I messed up, but I just scrapped up everything and snatched one from the toolbox. The next day, I imported the basketball hoop in Studio. Then, I tried to make the back of the hoop out of parts, and as you can see, this is garbage, so I directly went back in Blender and quickly made something for the back of the hoop. After, I added it to the rest of the hoop, and just like this, we already have our juicy, sexy looking basketball hoop. Nah, you're tripping, brother. Oh, you sure about that? The next thing I did is a basketball court, because nobody's gonna play on grass, right? So I took a basketball court from the toolbox to speed up my workflow and made a lot of changes so my game stays optimized and original. I also changed the lighting, and no joke, this made the game look 5 times better. On day 8, I woke up and went directly to studio to start building the map. Since the game is going to be in 2D, all I had to build was the player's field of view. So I created a map similar to the city and basket random by making buildings, fences, buses, and trees. Then I added game modes when you click the play button. There's gonna be 3 of them. The first one is normal, which is going to be single player for training or 2 to 4 player matches. Ranked, which is going to be 1v1s or 2v2s, but unfortunately this is not gonna be out yet if you're watching this video before the next update. And finally, tutorials that are gonna be optional. To make these, I took a picture for each game mode. For normal, I made a character that was about to shoot. For ranked, I made 2 characters who wants the smoke. Okay guys, 1, 2, 3, cheese! Nah bro, cheese! And for the tutorials, I just took a picture of the rim. After taking pictures, I edited them on Photopea, which is basically Photoshop for broke people. Next morning, I edited them in studio and it ended up looking pretty good, so I'm proud of myself, yay. Afterwards, I made a party GUI like in other Roblox horror games. With this, players are gonna be able to make their own matches, because I don't like when I have to wait in Roblox basketball games to play against my friend or random people. And I also made it so player can change the match settings. To make this, I went on Pisco and made 2 checked boxes. Then I got back to Roblox Studio and made a match settings GUI so players can change the number of players and other things that I'll talk about later. Alright, so I just finished with the UI system. There's still a lot of UI that I need to make. So this is what the main menu looks like. There's gonna be a shop, rewards, and the settings. So if you click on play, this is what the game modes looks like. So you can create a party, you can change the game settings, and then after you can create your party. Now I'm gonna have to make like the game system. It's gonna be pretty interesting to make since I never coded this, but it's probably gonna be fun to make. I guess. I hope so. Well, hell nah, because this took me weeks, no months, no years. Okay, yeah, I've got to chill a little bit. Okay, so now that we can create matches, we need somewhere to play. To do this, I made a new place that players are gonna be teleported to whenever they start a game. After they get teleported, they're gonna be able to choose which side they'll play, and when everyone's gonna be ready, the match will begin. But hold up, normally this should have taken me less than 1 day to make, but I got banned from Roblox because I accidentally added a way to bypass the Roblox chat filter system in my previous game. And people were saying really bad stuff that I can't even talk about on YouTube. So lesson of the day, if you're making some kind of system users can text with, never forget to use this bad boy right there. Otherwise, you'll get banned. The next thing I had to do was the shooting system. However, I don't know anything about physics, but I'm good at math, so it should be alright. Right? So I directly searched on the dev forum how to make a basketball shooting system, and I landed on this post explaining how to make one. But like I said earlier, I don't get none of this, bro. What in the world is this? Instead, I searched on YouTube how to make a projectile that goes from point A to B, and Sophie Kainer did a video explaining exactly what I was searching for. So after watching his tutorial, I scripted it in my game, and here's what I had. Yo, so it's been like 1 month since I started the game, and just look, okay, so right now I'm making the shooting system, and when I shoot, the only problem I have is this, bro. Like when I shoot, since I'm moving with the ball is not gonna go in. I just don't know how I'm gonna be able to make this. Like, look, oh, okay. Alright, let's break this down. So basically, my script calculates the force needed to get the ball from its current position to the rim. The problem is, it doesn't care about the ball's velocity, and because of this, I'm getting shots that are worse than Shaq's free throws. We definitely need to fix this. The first idea I had was to look for a formula to calculate the force needed, taking into account the projectile's velocity. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything that worked and I was about to give up. Then, I remembered something a wise man once told me.
Work smarter, not harder.
So why don't I just remove the ball's velocity before applying the force? So I just added this one line of code and everything worked flawlessly. After playing around with the shot system, I took a break because I had enough. Instead, I made a nice map for the game because in Basket Random, each time there's a bucket, the game randomly picks one or multiple variations, and this one will make the players slip. To do this, I pick random variations that are stored in a table. They each have different chances to be picked. When they're picked, I apply the variations to the game. For example, for the ice map, I set the friction of the ground to 0. Then I send the variations to the client so it can be displayed before the jump ball. After, I played with the lightning so the map feels more snowy, and I made a sunset. Now, it was time to get back on the shooting system. In Basket Random, just like its name suggests, the shots are random. But me, I'm not gonna do this. Instead, I'm gonna add a shot meter so it adds competitiveness to my game. So I made a shot meter similar to NBA 2K by making a white bar with a stroke. Then, I had to script the shot meter. And here's how I calculate the shot's accuracy based on 3 factors. Firstly, I get the distance between the player's hold time and the required hold time. This is basically the gap between the meter and the top. I do this by calculating the absolute difference between the required hold time and the hold time. And absolute means the result cannot be negative. Don't worry, I also didn't know this before. Secondly, I multiply this by a number that controls how hard it is to make a shot. The larger the number, the more difficult it is, and the smaller the number, the easier it is. Thirdly, I multiply this by the player's distance from the hoop. Finally, the number I get at the end of this formula is gonna be the offset I give to the ball. So if you get a green, the offset is gonna be set to 0. But if you get a decent shot, it's gonna be 0.5 or 0.6. Well, you get the point. And that was a really good way of doing it because each shot is not always the same. On day 51, I got back to building because each time there's a bucket in Basket Random, there's also a chance for the map to switch. The first map I made was the gym, so I made the border of the wall just like in the original game, then I made stands. And I know this looks trash, that's why I changed my mind later and made it better off camera. This is what it looked like at the end. So yeah, I added benches and then I added a dark hallway. I made the stands bigger and I made this thing here. The next day, I built the last map, which was the beach map. This one, I made the basketball court blue, then I added an ocean. After, I took an island that I was supposed to use for a past project I never finished. I placed that bad boy in the back, then added some trees I snatched from my old game.
You got me.
And lastly, I placed some objects around. But yo, let's be honest, I cooked right there. This map is clean. Afterwards, I went back to the main game and made the My Court mode UI. Then, I started working on the sound of the game because right now, it's soundless and this is boring. And as I was searching for a basketball pickup sound, I realized that I couldn't find a good one. But wait, I have a basketball, so why don't I just record it myself? And so I did, and it actually sounded really good at the end. But before I show you this, I had to fix one problem I talked about earlier in the video. Okay, so basically right now in the game, all my movement system is running and the server, and basically because of this, when I check when the player touches the ground, there's a delay for the client that makes so when your client is touching the ground, it's not gonna update. And at that moment, I had two choices: keep the system on the server so it cannot be exploitable but it'll be laggy in the client, or rescript everything on the client so it feels smooth but the game will be more exploitable. Next day, I rescripted the entire system and replaced the half cylinder I made in Blender with Roblox's default cylinder because it has better physics. So after about 2 months of work, this is what the game looks like. And I also coded an anti-cheat to prevent players from exploiting. 10 days later, I polished the game by making a particle when you pick up the ball. After this, it was time to finish the UI, so I started by the shop, which is automatically gonna get updated every 24 hours. On the next day, I made the default celebration animation, and every time you win a game, your celebration animation is gonna be shown. Afterwards, I added crates to the shop, but wait, hold on. For me, crates aren't that bad, it's just that some games make it look bad. But if you make things fair, I think it's okay to add some to your game. Then I made the inventory UI and I scripted it using Sufi's data store module, an easy to use module where you can create your own methods. Now that I had an inventory and create system, it was time to make the spin system. However, I never made this before, so I did some research like usual, and I found this post on the dev forum, but yo, this person is goated because without this, it would have taken me so much time, bro, because I went on his open source game showcasing the spin system, and Ctrl+C+V later, that script was mine, buddy. And before I show you the final result, I added the main menu music, but one is from my brother's friend and he sent me this. Yeah, he's underrated, but here's the final result. And after it gets added to your inventory. Using Sufi's data store module, an easy to use module where you can create your own. Then I made a UI where you buy celebration tracks. After that, I created icons for each track. On day 79, I created effects just like in Rocket League when you score a goal. Players are gonna be able to buy them with spins because in the game there's 3 currencies: cash, spins, and fans, which is similar to XP. And after playing around with the particles, I was able to get my first effect. And as you can see, I'm not really good at VFX, but hopefully I'm gonna get better with time. The next day, I didn't lose any time and made another effect. This one, your player character is gonna stomp the basketball hoop. And I also added some visual effects after, but I wasn't recording. After finishing every effect, I made the UI where you can spin the effects, which is inspired by Untitled boxing game. And you can also view your effect. Normally, it would have been 1 month, but I couldn't work on the game during that time because after finishing all my effects, I went to the park to play basketball and injured my left elbow because my hand slipped when I was hanging on the rim. On the last days, I made a daily reward system using Sufi's data store module, an easy to use module where you can create your own method. And this time, to make the daily reward system, I didn't snatch it from my last game, I borrowed it. So it's different, okay? It's different. Then I made a daily quest system because if I want this game to work out, I'm aware that I'm gonna have to build a strong player base. Afterwards, I made a menu where you can buy passes, and one of them is actually pretty cool. You can upload your own sound on Roblox and then use it as your own unique victory music. Next, I made a global leaderboard that tracks your stats and also a weekly leaderboard to give a chance to every player. After that, I added banners to the game just like in NBA 2K. Since there's a level system in the game, I made an achievement system each time you level up. The first level is rookie, then famous, popular, star, and Hall of Fame. Then I created a tutorial for the game, but when you play a game for the first time, there's gonna be a tutorial that starts on the fly directly in the action, instead of forcing players to make a solo tutorial, if you get what I'm saying. After finishing the tutorial, I tested the game with my friends, and just like I intended, it was really random. Okay, so it's been a pretty long time since I didn't record it myself while talking, but the game is nearly finished. Now all is left to do is the game icon, and what I'm going to try to make is something similar to these games because their click-through rate is probably pretty good and they have a lot of active players. So I didn't lose any time and got to work. I took a picture in Roblox Studio, edited it on Photopea, and that was was the final result. But before I show you, I made the logo of the game. But yeah, here's the final result. And it's not bad, but if I want my game to succeed, I need something better. I need to step up. So I learned how to make GFX and Blender, and yo, that was the best decision I made, because after I edited it on Photopea, that was the final result. And finally, this is how the game looks like on the Roblox page, so you can go play it now. The link will be in the description. If you wanna support me, like and favorite the game. If you find bugs or have any feedback, you can go join my Discord or my new Roblox group. And after I release the rank system, I'm gonna be marketing the game so you guys can have fun cooking random people. Also, if you like to watch Roblox TikTok content, follow me on TikTok. It will help me promote the game. Now, have fun and have a nice day.